Hello everyone, I'm Tianyu Zhu from University of Connecticut. It's my great honor to be here and give a presentation on the title of Smart Production System Modeling Bernoulli serial line case. The outline is as follows. The first part, I will introduce the background of our research. The second part is about the problem formulation. The third part covers the algorithms for two machine lines and multiple machine lines. And then I will show our results. Finally, the conclusions and future work will be given. The manufacturing industry has entered the era of Industry 4.0. New technologies have changed the way manufacturing activities are carried on the factory floor. In addition to an enhanced level of equipment automation, automation of decision-making has been one of the key objectives of these new initiatives. On the other hand, a critical issue that has been overlooked is the construction of mathematical models in manufacturing research and studies. Unlike a traditional electrical or mechanical system, there is no standard first principles that can be used to construct such a mathematical model. As a result, constructing a mathematical model to capture the job flow in a manufacturing system at the system level has to be done manually and may depend on the training, experience, and sometimes personal preference. In the current literature, various types of mathematical models for studying practical production systems have been proposed. However, the identification of the model parameters has not been discussed in depth. The importance of identifying the model parameter cannot be overlooked, since a valid mathematical model is a foundation of any rigorous quantitative analysis of a production system at hand. For instance, one can use a model to estimate some system performance metrics, which cannot be directly observed or measured. Furthermore, if one wants to investigate the effects of changing or improving the parameters of a certain machine, calculate the lean buffering, optimize the production resource allocation, knowing the parameters of the model becomes a necessity. Therefore, we want to identify machine parameters based on performance metrics. For identifying the parameters in the conventional approach, we collect data from each individual workstation in the physical level and come up with methods to aggregate the data and to extract the model parameters, which involves a lot of individual processing steps per metric models. So there are many limitations. First, for some small and mid-sized manufacturers, they don't have automatic data collection equipment, so data collection is difficult to them. Then, in order to get valid machine parameters, like the uptime or downtime for each machine, we have to spend a long time on collecting many enough observations to make sure they are in a high accuracy, and the data we collected is not in the standard form. So a lot of inconvenient data process work is involved. Finally, there is no standard rule or unique solution to aggregate data or extract the model parameters, so it requires a lot of modeling experiment and training of modelers. So we want to develop a new approach to solve this limitation. In our new approach, we use standard performance metrics to identify machine parameters instead of those non-standard formed data. So our goal is to obtain the parameters which are the best match with the performance metrics so they can fit the main characteristics of the real production line. Moreover, the new approach is much more efficient and convenient because performance metrics data is very easy to collect on factory floor in a short time, and they are commonly used and easy to understand. In addition, the users just need to give the performance metrics as an input, and they will obtain the output, the machine parameters, without doing anything else. Everyone in different knowledge levels can handle it. This is a multiple machine Bernoulli production line. The circle represents an actual machine, the manual processing workstation, or a mini cell, depending on the nature of the work carried out and the scale of the study. Machines follow Bernoulli reliability model. Similarly, the rectangle represents the buffering and material handling mechanisms between the machines, which may take various forms on the factory floor. PI is machine efficiency and AI is buffer capacity. System throughput and working process are performance metrics. System throughput is the average number of jobs produced by the last machine, and the working process is the average number of jobs in each buffer in the steady state. Throughput and working process are standard key performance indices of a production system. They are easy to collect in factory floor and reflect the main character, so we use them as a basis. Then the problem is formulated. Identify the machine parameters Pi star based on the buffer capacity Ns, system throughput Tp star, and working process WIPI stars. The formulas of calculation throughput and working process for two machine lines are as follows. Through this, we can get the equation system for two machine lines, where functions throughput and working process are defined on the previous slide. Clearly, P1, P2 is the zero of fx. Thus, problem in this case amounts to solving the zero of function fx in this range. Since functions f1 and f2 are continuously differentiable in this range, the modified Newton-Raphson method has been used. Newton-Raphson method is a rule-finding algorithm based on the Taylor expansion. It has an analytical expression and can find the optimal solution in a very short time. The formula for each iteration is as follows, where k is the smallest non-negative integer, such that the resulting xn plus 1 belongs to the range. Jfx is a Jacobi matrix of fx. When the error of the last two iterations is very small, and the iteration is terminated, this is the iteration process of a two-machine line. The errors are very small, and all of Pi converge in less than 5 iteration steps. It shows our algorithm has good estimation accuracy for two machine lines. For multiple machine lines, we can convert multiple machine lines to a series of two machine lines and calculate the throughput and working process by aggregation approach. If the throughput and working process of all buffers of multiple machine lines are given, the throughput and working process of the virtual two machine lines are also known. At first, we can get the performance metrics by the simulation or aggregation from the multiple machine line. Then we can convert multiple machine lines to a series of two machine lines. After that, we can apply the modified Newton-Raphson method to each virtual two machine line to estimate PIF and PIB. Finally, the parameters of the original machines can be calculated based on the equation. This slide shows the process of parameter identification of a multiple machine Bernoulli line. To investigate the accuracy of the parameter identification algorithms in multi-machine Bernoulli lines, 10,000 multi-machine Bernoulli lines are generated with machine parameters PSR randomly and equiprobably selected from 0.5 to 1, and buffer capacities randomly selected from the range. Based on the theoretical throughput and working process, the exact optimal solution can be obtained. Based on the simulated throughput and working process, for 10,000 production lines studied, the average estimation error is as shown in the table. It shows that our algorithm has good estimation accuracy. Besides, the overall computational burden of the algorithm is fairly light. Even for a 15 machine line with nearly 100 iteration steps, the average computational time is only 5.2 milliseconds. Here is an example of 5 machine line. Most of the errors are less than 1%, and only the area of P4 is less than 2%. All of them converge in less than 5 iteration steps. In our paper, we studied the problem of parameter identification in the serial production line model with Bernoulli machines. To solve this problem based on the throughput and working process as functions of machine and buffer parameters, the modified Newton-Raphson method is derived. Then we can draw the conclusion. An analytical algorithm is developed to identify the parameters of a Bernoulli serial production line model based on the throughput and working process information. Numerical experiments show that the algorithm has good estimation accuracy and fairly light computational burden. For future work, we will extend the work to systems with other topologies and machine reliability models. We will test and apply the theoretical results in manufacturing practice. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.